Hi, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Lisa Rothberger. Lisa, it's great to connect with you, Chief Talent Officer of Jan Pro and Jan Supply. Chief Talent Officer is the title. You are HR. You have an HR background. You're an HR specialist. You've been doing HR for decades. Jack Welch has said that the most important position at a company is HR. And I agree with him. And I think sometimes companies don't really understand or utilize HR the way HR really needs to be. And I think you have a very good grasp of what that is. And so let's just talk kind of basics for a minute. How should an HR department run? What's of an HR department?
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
The driving force of an HR department is attracting and retaining talent and making sure the workplace is a positive place. I mean, work is work, but at the same time, it should be a place that you don't hate going every day. And what can we do for our employees to keep them wanting to work hard and do what's good for the company?
Yeah. Let's talk about retention, because I think retention is so hard today. In today's world, especially in a post-COVID world, where the world of being in the office and hybrid is, there's no. I mean, you can hire somebody from all over the world today to do certain jobs. How are companies retaining their people?
Well, Jan Pro's unique because we never really we had one person that went remote for a little bit, but we never really had to coax them back to the office. We were always working in person, but I do know that is a struggle for companies. Having the ability to stay remote for someone who has gone remote is definitely something that attracts them. I think that people are trying to get people back in the office, and that is deterring people from staying with companies because they can live wherever and do their job if they can work remotely. And you can get, like you said, talent of all kinds from all over the world. If you're looking for something very specific, that is a way to get the best.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, retention has looked different over the last 10 years. I mean, when we were brand new, it was like anybody that we could get to come work for this brand new company, we would take. And obviously we had some standards, but at the same time, our standards have increased and our expectations have grown, as we've evolved. So we have some team members who've been with us from the beginning, but a lot of that has changed.
Let's talk about that because JanPro, what JanPro has done over the last decade as far as, its growth has been tremendous. And I hear that a lot, Lisa, from companies too. In the beginning, anybody who would believe in us, we hired them. And then, but I want to talk about kind of the markers in which you kind of begin to look at the landscape of your business a little bit bigger. And so when JanPro, at what stages did you all start saying, okay, we have to kind of now look at our team, and we need to now raise the standards of our team moving forward? How did that move? Because I think sometimes people get stuck with not doing that. And so how did you actually do it?
So the first thing was changing our location. I mean, we were, we took wherever was a good space for us with the right price rent when we first opened up, and we made it work for a long time. And then we decided that we wanted to, work in a nicer environment. And so we moved up, we bought a building, and we moved our location to a different city. And at that point, the level of people that we could recruit changed.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we had some staffing changes that we sort of hit a point where there was certain things that we would accept that, were acceptable when we were, younger as a company. And as we've become more professional, some of those things became unacceptable. And so, changes in leadership, and it enabled us to then recruit for some people with a higher skill level and better experience.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it changed the level of professionalism with our employees.
Yeah. So 10 years, changing location, yeah, getting different resumes in the door, looking at the business differently. You know, Jan Pro starts, you're celebrating your 10-year anniversary, and Jan Supply comes in the mix, and now you have two companies that you're doing talent searches for, doing HR for. Just kind of talk about the metamorphosis of that.
Even so, from the beginning, there was no real HR in the beginning. It was just very grassroots. And at a certain point, I mean, obviously I am one of our owners, and I was not there on a day-to-day basis in the beginning. And it got to a point where I was like, we need to have this level of professionalism in the office. We need to have someone doing checks and balances and making sure that every single person is treated with the same exact policy when it comes to illness, when it comes to taking time off, and all of those things that, when you are brand new, you're like, yeah, whatever, just so you don't leave us,
Yeah.
And now, we our policy, our handbook, that evolves at least once a year, if not twice a year, where as things come up, we have to tighten our policies and make sure that we do the same for everyone, which is not something that we necessarily did in the beginning.
Yeah.
And recruiting, once you bring someone in for an interview, which we usually do for our second interviews, the environment either sells itself or it doesn't. And a culture isn't always one size fits all. And ours is a unique culture. It's very friendly, and everybody knows about each other's lives, and we want to know that it's a relaxed environment. There's it's just like a happier place. And so part of that recruiting process for both companies is who's going to be outgoing, who's bubbly. I mean, that bubbly is the word that Jared always uses, that he's looking for someone who's going to interface with customers and, franchise owners. It's true. It's like you have to have that like social ability to really thrive in our company.
Yeah. It's interesting. 10 years is a huge landmark for a company, for any company. I mean, there's so many companies that can't make it past 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. I've had companies where I started an internet company, and the grassroots piece is so fun. It's so entrepreneurial. It's so not knowing what tomorrow brings and just coming and bringing the hustle, which I know you and Jared, I mean, you all did that. But then you wake up one day and you're like, wait, hold on. We have to like make this a real company now. Exactly. Not that it wasn't, but, and so it kind of, there's a piece, I think, in every entrepreneur that you miss the just the treasure chest of things that you may find. And then everything becomes much more predictable, and you have to infuse a little bit of quote unquote corporateness into an entrepreneurial environment. And so just talk a little bit more about how you kind of morphed into that while still kind of keeping the entrepreneurial kind of, flavor.
I would say the first thing that I put pressure on Jared for was to offer benefits, offer health insurance. I mean, whatever that looked like, just to be able to say we offered, medical, dental, and vision, it equals a real company, a place that really people want to go to work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And that was a huge jump for us. I think that was around year 5, maybe. And again, that was maybe 4. it was before I was there in this role. But I have always kind of put the pressure on him to expand the benefits. And I try to add something every year, if not every other year. So I would say probably 3 years ago, we added life insurance, which is employer paid. It's like it's not that expensive. And it's just something that we can say that we do for them.
Yeah.
Last year, we implemented a 401 in the past 12 months, a 401k with a match, which, I mean, that is like, we are a grown up company here.
That's
like,
a big, that is like, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really proud of being at that point. And, you know, I think majority of our employees are taking advantage of the match. And it's really been a positive thing for us. It's definitely a good recruiting tool to try and differentiate us.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you talk about the importance of why people should match and max out their 401k?
Yes, I mean, matching it's free money. If you're putting money away, then you're maximizing the amount that you can save for retirement, because that's money that you don't get if you don't put your 4% in your 401k, then you don't get that other 4%. It's just like left on the table.
Right.
And being prepared for the future is really important. I mean, we don't think about it, you know, in the present, but at some point you're going to get to the point where you need something to fall back on that's not just your Social Security, because God knows if that'll even be around when we retire, you know. There's nothing permanent about it. It's always been there, but we don't know. And just a 401k is a safe place to keep your money, to maximize it. And usually if you have them from other companies, you can roll them together, which means that the more you have, the more they can grow. It's just an amazing benefit, and being able to offer it is I'm really proud of us for that.
Good. I'm proud of you too. I think it's great. It's huge. Let's talk about the difference between Jan Pro and Jan Supply.
Okay. Well, Jan Pro is a franchise company that we own the territory of Metro Detroit. And Jan Supply is a business that was incorporated on our own, and we can actually we can sell supplies all over the country if we want to. It's not always cost effective to ship things very far away. There's other places where you can get it easier and quicker, but we can tailor certain things to different Jan Pro markets all over the country. So we sell supplies mainly to our customers that we clean their offices, and also to our franchise owners. So we get them the best deals and provide them with what we stand by as chemicals and products to use when they're cleaning. And also it ends up being a resource. So if someone has a unique flooring that they need to clean, they can come to our Jan Supply team. And even if they don't know, they have the resources to research and figure out what that is that they need to clean up certain surface or flooring, whatever. So it's been a great resource for the rest of Jan Pro, actually.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jan Pro, the model, you know, how people get a franchise. You've been doing this 10 years. So just give us kind of an update on that and, you know, what that looks like.
Okay. So Jan Pro is a 3-tier model. That's what they call it in the franchise world. So there's an international office, and Jared and I own the Detroit market, which we own the Tri-County area all the way up to Lansing. And we sell franchises to people who they want to be a business owner. So we help people realize their dreams of being their own business owner, having their own business, and we help them, provide them the support like within our office. So if they need help getting an LLC, making sure that they have the right insurance. If they have a team of employees, we can help them with a payroll system or anything that they might need. And then we also do, we have a customer service team that makes sure that they're doing, that their cleans are up to the standard of the customer. So there's a little bit of push and pull. We also do we do the sales. So we match a franchise owner up with an account that is best meets their needs and in the right location. So we really do the back end for them, but they still own and operate their own business. They can grow their business. And at this point, we have over 150 franchise owners in the Detroit market. And each of them have their own teams of employees. So it's just, if you multiply that by, even if they only had 3 staff, we're looking at 450 additional people who are employed because of JanPro.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Let's talk. What I love about the model at JanPro, I love about the model and the franchise model in general is you can be an entrepreneur with not having to do it all by yourself.
Exactly.
All by yourself, and you have the full support. And in JanPro's model, you have 2 entrepreneurs at the helm of all of these other franchise owners, and then you become the trainer, the conduit, the headquarters, the resources. I mean, it's really a great model.
Yeah. A lot of these people, like you said, you don't have to do it all by yourself. So they may not have had the know-how to really get something off the ground or to do it right. And we have the resources to support them and help them be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, doing it on our own was I can tell you, is a scary experience, and you find out you're doing something wrong and you got to fix it right away. And to be able to have someone who has that answer for you is, that's a gift for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the franchise model for a minute. Your piece in particular, you and Jared. I think sometimes the perception is well, I'll do a franchise because it's in a box and it's easy. I don't think there's nothing easy about a franchise. It's just because they give you the structure and the framework and the initial instruction manual, you really got to make it your own. So can you just kind of talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's like you said, they give you the model of what they think would work best, but as we know, geographically, it's different in every city.
Right.
And, we can ask other owners what they're doing with certain situations and get a myriad of answers, which is cool because you can say, well, maybe that would work in Detroit or that won't. We definitely know that won't work. And it's, there's definitely things that we have implemented that people have come and said, that's awesome. We're going to do that too. Just there's no cookie cutter especially for this type of business. But the great thing about at least this franchise is the community. So all of the owners are really well connected with each other. They have the opportunity to learn from each other, to meet up. And over 10 years, we've made some really amazing friends and, people that we can call. We want to research something that we're doing for our employees, and should we change it up? What are you doing? And get 10 different answers and compare and contrast, and what would work in Detroit and what wouldn't. So, that is definitely a benefit of this company for sure. I don't know that, this is my only experience in a franchise company, so I don't know if it's the same with other businesses.
But what I love about that, when you have a built-in resource of people who are in front of you and have done things and tried things, I'm always under the philosophy that there's no bad ideas, just bad assumptions. And so if you make one wrong assumption, it can really take down a company, one bad assumption. And so if you may have an idea, you make an assumption, you call people that have done it and they move it just a smidge, it really can compound to major growth in a company versus going down just one smidge down the wrong path.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, kind of over the last decade, what are some of the lessons that you've learned?
Oh, well, learned that, even though an employee might be great and have been with us for a long time, that sadly everyone is replaceable. That's the hardest part. Someone who has been with us for a long time and we adore them, but they couldn't keep up with where we were headed. Businesses sometimes move faster than you expect, and people don't always grow with them. I mean, for me, from an HR perspective, that's the hardest part, because we've invested a lot in our employees.
Yeah. And sometimes, to just add on to that, I'm a big believer that if you can't find the right seat for someone as the company evolves, as the people evolve and move or don't move, letting somebody go is really an act of courage and compassion, because you're setting them free to find something that is a fit for them. And they may not see it or feel it in the moment, but in time, once they land, they see it. They find their new fit. They find their new fit.
For sure. And keeping someone for too long it hurts the business sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we've definitely learned those lessons.
Yeah, those are tough decisions. When you when you look at how you got an understanding and where you learned some of the things you learned in business, where does if you were to look back at any mentor along the way, who helped you, take me back, like before you were 10 years old, somebody who taught you stuff that you implement now that you learned so long ago?
I mean, before I was 10 years old, I would say my number one business mentor would be my dad, 100%. He, I have seen he's made mistakes along the way that I could pinpoint, but the way that he conducts himself in business, his ethics, even just in my life, that's the type of person that I wanted to be, even from that young of an age. I really respect and look up to what he has done as a businessman.
Yeah. So what's one thing in particular that sticks out?
I just his ability to just do the right thing. Sometimes it's easy to be like, well, I could just like fudge that number, or, not report this or whatever. He's always said, I'm going to do the right thing, because that one time you do the wrong thing, then you might get audited. Then you might, what does that say to your employees if you say it's okay to, blur the lines? It's just being a leader and standing by your character.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing. I mean, that's the main thing. And sometimes it's not fun because it costs you money, or whatever. Yeah, usually it costs a lot of money, but you can sleep at night knowing that you did the right thing.
That's the key thing. My dad was the same way. My dad was a dentist and a solopreneur, and he always just did the right thing. He always did the right thing. He taught us the same thing. I think it's a great lesson. I'm a huge fan of you and Jared. I'm a huge fan of your dad. He's built a phenomenal business, Kraken Insurance. JJ Reifler has been my guy for the last 30 years. My son interned there at your dad's company this summer, and taught your dad taught my son a ton of stuff. So I'm very grateful for that.
He's special. And my sister and my brother-in-law are with JJ, partners with JJ. So it's cool to see the legacy live on.
Yeah. Your family's great. I love your whole family. They were all great, Tim. They were all great. Let's talk a little bit about legacy. You built something. It's been a decade. I believe you kind of live your legacy. It's not just something that's done once you're done. What is the legacy that JanPro and Jan Supply live on a day-to-day?
Doing right by our franchise owners and taking care of our employees. Those are the two things. We want to make sure that they get what they came for. Yeah,
it's good. So speaking of getting what they came for, tell me what's now. So what can somebody, how can somebody sign up to be a franchise? How does that work right now?
Well, first they would come and make an appointment to have a presentation with Latasha Kirk, who is our franchise development person, and she's she can speak to it. She's a former franchisee and then came on board to work with us, and she's just doesn't sugarcoat it. She gives all of the information. She really will tell you what it takes to start your business, and she also performs the trainings that our new franchisees have to go through before they can start cleaning and start their accounts. And then they have some time to think about it. Michigan law, I think after you have your presentation, you have to wait 2 weeks before you can sign on the dotted line. You have to have the information and think on it for a couple of weeks, which I think is a smart law. And then, after that, it's go time.
Yeah, it's great. And I know, what about promotions, things of that nature? How does that work with either company?
So for our 10th anniversary, actually, we are offering a promotion that if you sign up for services and you make it through your 2-month period of trial, your third month, if you sign on for an annual contract, your third month is free. So we're doing that just to celebrate our 10th year in business, to thank our community for supporting us. And also, a referral is the best form of flattery and the best way to tell us that we're doing a good job. So if you refer someone, they get that third month free. And we just really want to thank everyone who supported us. This was a crazy pipe dream in the beginning, and we've really turned into a real company, and just really proud of what we've done, and proud of Jared. He's worked really hard.
Yeah, Jared has worked really hard. You've worked really hard. Let's talk about, I think the word thank you is sometimes hard for people. People forget to actually use it. And I think being thankful, being grateful, how do you infuse that into your team so they feel the thanks, they feel the gratitude? I mean, I've been in your office. I was there recently for a fundraiser that you did, and you can feel it in the walls, right? You can feel gratitude and thankfulness in the walls, but that's you have to keep that alive on the daily. And so, how do you do that?
We have, there's a few ways. We have weekly lunch meetings that we take the opportunity, obviously fill everybody in on what's happening, but we take the opportunity to shout out our franchisees who are doing a great job and shout out employees that have helped us or done something. And so it's like a public forum where everybody says thank you. Really, if someone's done something, and it's always different people, and I don't think anyone's ever really overlooked, in the course of a month, somebody is thanked at least once a month. And we have a VIP of the month where we recognize someone who's really stepped up to the plate. We have some annual awards that we give at our holiday party just to, say you really killed it this year. We recognize a rookie of the year too, someone who's only been with us for less than a year, which is fun because they're not expecting that. And, when we have a really big month, we celebrate. We really do. We try to do fun things and take them out of the office and just say, you've done a great job. Let's, go bowling, or let's have a pool party, or, we try to get creative. We've done all kinds of things, and just really builds the morale and builds team building too.
Yeah. What I love about what you're talking about is, and I think sometimes people within companies resist this, and I think it's a really, really bad thing. They resist telling people they're doing a good job and complimenting them because they don't want to feel like they're over complimenting, or that they'll maybe take their foot off the brake. But people like to be complimented. It's got to be real and authentic, but it's when I'm in a lot of different types of companies as a business coach, big, small, fortune, entrepreneurial startups, solopreneurs, and the environments where leaders compliment other people, you can feel it in the walls the second you walk in. You really can. It's I think community, we talk a lot about, showing appreciation in real time, and at events like Lisa's talking about. So it's so important. And the most important, not the most important, but having food is always important.
Oh yeah.
People love free
We do
food.
that too.
Yeah, they love food. Yeah, that's great. And so as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have your first decade down. What's in store for the next decade?
You know what? The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Jared is always looking for new opportunities and new businesses. I mean, he's got his whole process, and I'm the final line of defense. So he has to poke holes in these ideas before they even come to me, and then we really talk about it if it's something worthwhile. But I think that we will be growing our business portfolio. I don't know if they'll be franchises or if they'll be businesses that we start on our own, but that's the goal, to start and operate more businesses.
I love it. All right, quick speed round. You ready?
Yep.
Book that's had a big impact on you.
Traction.
All right, good. It's a good book. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Slow down.
That's great. Find your pause. Absolutely. Take a moment, take a breath. Last question. What's one thing everybody can do today to slow down and make sure they do the right thing?
That's a heavy question. Proofread your emails.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, that's a good one. Lisa, tell everybody how they can connect with you, who your ideal clients are, both for JanPro and for Jan Supply, and contact information, etc.
Our ideal clients are small businesses, small buildings, and large businesses for Jan Supply. We can supply any size business with supplies, but for cleaning, it's smaller buildings, not huge high rises, but doctors' offices, small businesses within buildings, common areas, not common areas. And you can connect with me at lisa.rothberger@jan-pro.com. And I obviously do our human resources, but I can connect you with anybody that can help you for whatever you're looking for.
It's great. Lisa, I always enjoy talking with you. I love you and your family, and it's been amazing watching you and Jared grow this business over the last decade. Feels like it's been about a year, but it really has been a decade of a lot of commitment and consistency and dedication and perseverance and community. Lisa's story with JanPro and Jan Supply with Jared is amazing, but it's filled with, I would say, the through line of a lot of what you talked about: gratitude and being thankful and not taking anything for granted. And as your dad infused, which I see from the sidelines, you and Jared always doing the right thing and always making the right moves. So congrats to you guys. If anybody knows anybody or can send anybody Lisa's way, who's interested in a franchise, please do. Tell them one more time how to connect with you, Lisa.
Lisa.rothberger@jan-pro.com.
All right, Lisa, thanks. This was great. Always enjoyed talking with you. And here's to another decade.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all you have done for us. You are one of a kind.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. All right. Thanks, everybody.